sports is more than just gaming.
It's just a really good way to meet new people who are interested in the same thing as you.
It gives them a good sense of sportsmanship and teamwork.
The big goal with Ken Garff Esports is to introduce these students to industry. We want to show them that they can take their interest and passion and turn it into future opportunity.
And it's open to everyone. Encourage students to sign up for Ken Garff Esports today. To learn more about success in education and coding programs, visit SIEutah.org.
Did you know that the average teenager spends nearly 7.5 hours on their phone every day? In that time, you could watch a 2-hour movie almost 5 times in a row, or ride a roller coaster at a theme park 45 times, or fly to Hawaii and swim for an hour. You can make the best use of those 7.5 hours by spending 5 minutes of your day on the Keys to Success app. Keys to Success is a mobile app and website that rewards you for exploring your future. See you soon!
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Ken Garff Esports Fall Festival, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate Edition. We're here in round number 3. I'm Ashgon, joined by the wonderful Juice. Juice, could you tell us a little bit about what happened last time we were here together?
Oh man, that time was absolutely a dream, right? You know, it's kind of like a surreal instance where we had Beaver High School versus Pineview 1. And we actually got to see a Steve and Kazuya, two of the most dominant characters in today's meta for Super Smash Bros., especially in the competitive sense, dang near just take the entire game, right? They took the whole other team and just kind of shot them through a hoop, and it was like 3 points. It was basically a 3-pointer, or I think it was Pineview basically just, not trying to sound bad, but mopping the floor a little bit with Beaver. Unfortunately, Beaver was not able to put up too much of a fight, but it does definitely show the power behind Pineview and how much knowledge that their players have behind this game. It was a sight to behold if you were a big Smash fan.
Absolutely, and I think so far we've seen a whole lot of Steve. I think we were discussing that if we see any more of it, we're going to have to shed some tears. But for today, before we even get to what characters everyone's playing, let's talk about the schools. We have Lehi High School versus Westlake High School. This match is within the 5A, 6A district. And as for the players, we can go ahead and start on the Lehi side and we can maybe introduce them to you.
Yeah, so on Lehi's side, we have Chips, Killer Strike, Dupala, and for the 4th player, we have Fifth. So hopefully that doesn't cause you all too much confusion, but it's a little funny instance right there.
All right, and then we can go over to the Westlake side where we'll be seeing Flyaway, Question Mark, Mashman, and S the Legend 11, which I think the Legend is going to be a pretty good shorthand for him because I'm hoping to see some legendary plays.
Very true, very true. And another thing is we have seen Westlake before, way back when we were doing our first preseason match when I believe it was Westlake taking on Pleasant Grove, if I'm recalling correctly. So we're going to see the second time for Westlake to show up and whether or not they can do some good in this true bracket, right? Because that preseason, as we know, does not matter. So now that we're in the regular season, this is what does matter, and this is what can get them to the championship later on at the beginning of the new year.
And we were mentioning that we're seeing a couple of new names on that roster, right, to Westlake. So I'm happy to see some new faces, and I'm hoping to see some awesome gameplay. And speaking of gameplay, I think we want to talk about the format on it. We should touch on how we're doing everything. It's going to be that crew battle. You've seen it week and week again. It's going to continue to be that similar format of 4 stocks per match, 10 minutes in a match, and whatever stocks you get out alive with, you get to take into the next player, meaning that you get to stay in the ring for as long as you can keep a stock on the table. But for as long as you have those stocks, you're also locked into the same character. So there's no changing, no turning back. Once you pick, it's the end of the line for you.
Right. Very much so, very much so. And the other thing we have to talk about is that there are a certain amount of stage you can pick as well. So if I am paying attention correctly, we also have Pokemon Stadium 2, Battlefield, Final Destination, Smashville, and Town and City as your starters, with your counterpick stages being Kalos Pokemon League, Lilac Cruise, and Small Battlefield. So those are going to be the main stages that players can get to choose. I don't think we saw too many different stage picks the last few times that we did manage to cast this event. So I'm curious to see whether or not players are going to strategize a little bit differently, try to play towards their character strengths with a stage pick, or whether or not it's going to be kind of just let's run it back and see who the better player is on the same stage over and over again.
Absolutely. And one more thing I want to point out is that the winners of this season of the Fall Festival get to go to the finals at Spring Celebration, right? So these teams are competing not just for the prize at the end of this league, but they have something to go for to enter into another competition later down the line. Now, in the meantime, as we wait for this match to start, Juice, we've been seeing a lot of Steve, and look, as much as I love Minecraft, I don't want to see him on the stages anymore. But what can we expect from him? Actually, excuse me, what can we expect from Incineroar, someone we haven't seen on the battlefield at all yet?
So this is a very interesting pick, just because Incineroar is one of those characters who is specifically a grappler, but has a lot of strengths to him in terms of his kit. A lot of disjoints, some really powerful moves as well, and some decent frame data. So if players don't know how to operate around Incineroar, Incineroar is kind of a powerhouse that can kind of catch you off guard really quickly.
Yeah, it has that WWE, very performance-esque character about them. And on top of it all, on top of being a super heavy, that counter can be absolutely brutal to deal with sometimes.
Oh, right, for sure. Like, not only can Incineroar kill you at this percent, which is 57 right now for Flyaway, but if Incineroar has a lot of revenge, like right now, Incineroar could probably kill you at 30% if performed correctly. But right now, Flyaway is doing an amazing job at kind of making sure this Final Destination stage is played to their advantage here.
Yeah, and so while this iteration of Link, isn't exactly, not like Toon Link where it's super projectile based, he still has all of the similar tools, right? Has the bomb, has the arrows, has the boomerang, and so there's a lot of spacing potential and mix-ups that they can do against Incineroar, who doesn't really have the long-range tools to counter anything that Link puts on the table.
Right, for sure. That not only that, but also it's just, Incineroar is also incredibly slow. So in order to kind of just truly punish somebody, Incineroar has to do a lot of bait and punish tactics. And has to make sure to not counter as much, kind of like what we're seeing right here. Unfortunately, Chips has been doing a lot of counters when coming down from disadvantage, and Flyaway is starting to pick up on that and punishing with an up B out of shield or an up smash out of shield, which are two of Link's best options right there.
Yeah, something that we have to keep in mind that goes beyond the concept of your characters, whether they have projectiles, whether they're melee, whether they're grapplers, is that every human being is a creature of habit. And so if you can read your opponent's habits, no matter what you're doing, you are more than likely able to find some sort of edge on them. And that's exactly what we're seeing out of Flyaway.
Right, no, Flyaway is just Flyaway is literally flying away with this match in the sense that Flyaway is just kind of moving around the stage, forcing Chips to want to brawl, forcing Chips into a situation where they might get greedy, and then punishing yet again with another up smash to take away another stock. So Flyaway is playing this almost as perfectly as a zoner could.
Taking a sweet time, not getting too aggressive,
Ooh.
but definitely some skill there. No! Chips! Was it worth it, man? Look, you got the disrespect. It was a nice spike. Listen, you go out in style. I'll give it to you. But was it worth it? Because now you're moving down to the next player on the list, and that's going to be Killer Strike. And if I'm not mistaken, that's 2 stocks left on Flyaway's Link. And you've got a pretty good all-rounder when we're talking about Breath of the Wild Link, right? Because being able to detonate the bomb when he pleases is such an amazing tool to have when you want to change the timings on any combos.
Very true. Not only is Breath of the Wild Link, well, some people say General Link, some people say just Link, some people say Breath of the Wild Link. He's a very well-rounded character, great frame data, great ledge trap options, has an infinite as well that's very, very hard to pull off, but you might not see it in competitive play too often. But again, you know, has the projectiles, has the same amount of frame data, and he actually got buffed not too long ago. So a lot of his combo tools are kind of very similar to Young Link's, like maybe a falling back air into an up smash, or maybe even a dragging down forward air into a down smash. So some of those similar kill attributes that you see in Young Link, Link now does possess, but also is a very strong character, just not as fast, and but you know, gives up speed for the amount of kill power that he has.
Now you mentioned something, dragging down forward air, right? So aerial moves and inputs based on jumps and fast falls can vary. Can you go ahead and give just a little bit more depth into how those work?
Right. So when you're doing a specific combo, like for instance, let's talk about back air drag down into a up smash. So there's like little windows where characters can cancel their attack animations. So for Link himself, he has 2 hits on his back air. The first one where he throws out I believe it's his left leg, and the second where he turns his right leg to finish off the 2 kicks. Normally that second kick would send you flying away, but if you time your fastfall at the perfect amount to just do the first kick that it sends a character up into the air first, and then you land, you can immediately input an up smash, which however way you want to input it, and it combos that character into an up smash. So that is one of Link's popular kill moves now from the recent buff that he has, and it is a frequent thing that most Links try to go for, especially if they get their character, especially if they get the opponent to around 100% or more.
And correct me if I'm wrong here, Juice, but those kinds of inputs, especially in air and to cancel, create animation cancels, are generally more precise as well, and so there's a lot of mechanical skill involved with them. Would you say that's correct?
Yeah, that's pretty correct. It takes a lot of labbing to kind of get those animations perfect, so you can be able to, find those there's like little symbols in the games when the game tells you, oh, you did this action correctly. So like for instance, when you do a fast fall, you have to flick your control stick down, or your analog stick, forgive me, down the minute that your character reaches the apex of their jump. So when you see that, you'll see a little purple spark in the either upper left hand corner or the upper right hand corner of your character's like box, I guess you could call it, or their bubble, and that's going to tell you, oh, you did a fast fall correctly. So being able to know that that input correctly and being able to back air correctly into the first hit, into canceling into an up smash, it all takes quite a lot of labbing and just general knowledge and muscle memory in order to get that down. So it is a quite precise input for sure.
And it's something that definitely serves as an indicator to the skill level of your opponent, right? When players look at each other in a tournament and they know nothing about each other, they can just watch each other's movement in the air and what movements they kind of present to you in neutral. That kind of gives you the idea of what they're capable of and what combos you might expect, right? Because if you see someone who's playing a very floaty character but isn't throwing out any of those initial combo moves and utilizing fast fall to its fullest to get down, you're going to be able to understand that, okay, maybe I don't have to worry so much about the aerial combos, and rather I don't want to get trapped on the floor with an up tilt to lead into that chain. So
right, exactly.
It's a really, really good indicator. And so when players are looking at each other, it's also a game of chess and information. And again, we're talking about character matchups and whatnot, but this goes beyond the characters. How do they play with the tools in their back pocket?
Right, and that's kind of like what goes into what we just saw with Chips versus Flyaway. So a lot of times Chips was kind of jumping in the air, trying to bait out a specific options from Flyaway, especially while avoiding all the projectiles. And you would see Chips kind of drop down and try to. Oh, wait a minute, are we seeing Chips again?
I think it's just the online name.
Oh, okay, forgive me. But so yeah, when you saw Chips trying to attack Link's shield, right? You would see Link do his up B out of shield, which is a very good tool, and it comes out, I believe, in single-digit frames, like frame 7 or something like that. So that's kind of what we're going to see whether or not Flyaway is going to be able to get away with, especially in this match versus Killer Strike, where Killer Strike is piloting Pyra Mythra. Mythra being a very, very fast character, but with a whole lot of combos, not as much damage. And Pyra having all that explosive kill power substituted out for the speed.
So if we're talking about Link having a whole lot of tools, then definitely Pyra and Mythra have a whole lot more. And that was a brutal heavy attack, but it's just going to be dodged narrowly by the DI. We see Flyaway recover back onto the stage, and they're doing decent damage. Right about now, they're just looking to take out 1 or 2 stocks to be in a good position. But at 100% already, things are getting absolutely tight. They're trying their best to space around, but if it comes to projectiles, Pyra and Mythra aren't any less than what Link has.
Right, but these characters do have large disjoints, being something that we've talked about before. Link obviously has a disjoint, but Pyra and Mythra possess a huge disjoints with their sword, right? Like that sword right there that's going to send Flyaway up to the sky and take away that technically that third stock, but that second stock for right now.
All right, Chips sent down. That's one stock out. They need another one, fly away, to do a good job for Westlake. They're feeling themselves. They got back onto the stage, recovered. They're trying to pressure the shield, but it just doesn't happen. And of course, the grab is going to come out as a response, but we're not seeing anything chained together. And that's what we're seeing right now between these two teams. Both have had players that, you know, given the opportunity to start a free combo, it's been a little bit of a struggle. So we're trying to see whether any of those can start, specifically on the Mithra end.
Oh wow, great parry on the second bounce of Link's down air right there. And one thing I'm actually paying attention to is coming out of disadvantage. Oh, that's going to be a pretty big punish right there. Coming out of disadvantage, Flyaway has opted for a lot of down airs and has opted for a lot of up smashes when in close proximity to Killer Strike. And I'm curious whether or not Killer Strike's slightly picking up on that.
Recovery comes through. Narrowly dodges Lynx. Oh, tries to go for the down air to try and execute.
Ooh, wow. What a call out right there on the neutral get up from Flyaway. Killer Strike kind of showed that, you know, again, kind of adapting to the habits of Flyaway. You know, unfortunately, Flyaway started doing a lot of up smashes out of shield and basically just a lot of out of shield options, which, don't get me wrong, are very, very good options in this game in particular. But if an opponent can get a read on that, eventually you are going to get punished for it. And that's what we saw right there from Killer Strike.
So Killer Strike reading, moving on to the next match against Question Mark and Flyaway. I mean, they've definitely done their job, right? 5 stocks taken away from the enemy team in total. That's going to be rough for Lehi. But side question, Juice, how are we going to pronounce Question Mark? Are we just going to sound confused? Huh? Anything? Huh?
Yeah, we could do the huh. You know, you seen that meme with the dog on Twitter? It's just like huh. Huh. Either that, yeah, I feel like we could do just huh. You know, because that's gonna Question Mark's gonna take too much time. We could just say huh.
Sounds good. Yeah, everything in a questioning tone. Just what's going on?
What's going on? Yeah. Like Lehi, what's going on here?
Exactly.
We were talking about how we wanted. I wish like we could make the boom sound effect with the Rock when the Rock lifts his eyebrows and he just does that. You know, like I wish we could have the Vine boom sound effect every time we want to say Question Mark's name, just so it's just like boom as we lift our eyebrows. But I do like the. It's a very interesting name. I don't know if that's technically their tag or if that was something they, you know, gave the team, like, what's your tag?
I don't know.
Huh? You know, so it's like but yeah, I think we could go with huh or question mark. We'll see when we go over to this next game. But yeah, speaking of Pyra Mythra, man, again, very strong character. That's another one of the characters that are probably in that like top 5 range for characters in the meta right now, like one of top 5 characters in the game. A lot of people have used them. If anybody in the audience has watched any of the most recent majors, we've seen they're also called Aegis, but they're Pyra Mythra. They've been piloted by not only MK Leo, but been piloted by Spargo as well. Spargo being the previous top 2 best player in the world, took a little bit of a hiatus and is now still playing them at a very, very high caliber. But again, another character that we see frequently up there with the top 5 characters. The other top 5, I would say Steve, Kazuya, Pikachu, and maybe Joker. Those are like, you know, they're all interchangeable. But Steve is definitely like everybody's assumption for top 1 in the game. Kazuya is a little iffy. People are still going crazy and trying to figure out where Kazuya is. So.
How do you think Pikachu's rise to fame was? Because I remember upon release for SSBU, Pichu, the pre-evolution, was kind of the more dominant form. And now all of a sudden, you know, they're taking a lot more self-damage, kind of like how they appeared in Melee. And so Pikachu kind of eclipsed them after a couple of patch notes. Is that just the combo ability went up, the damage went up? What happened to Pikachu that you know, you say they kind of take priority over another character such as Palutena?
So going back to like how we talked about hurt boxes and hit boxes before, so Pikachu has a very, very tiny hurt box. So Pikachu can not only dish out loads of damage, can relax off stage and not have to worry about people edge guarding him. But there's just oftentimes where Pikachu does not have to worry about getting hit because Pikachu has what's called a pancake. So with certain character animations, when they land on the ground, they either squat, some may just flop on the ground. But Pikachu does this little thing where, let's say Pikachu's about this small, right? That's Pikachu's animation. So Pikachu will hit the floor and shrink like that. So
Understood.
A lot of characters, when they're trying to hit overhead or, they're trying to do anything generally to Pikachu, it'll just go over Pikachu just like that. So it's very, very difficult to hit Pikachu because not only can he not be hit, but his moves are genuinely just extremely safe, meaning that they have such little windows of lag between their start animation and their end animation that it almost means nothing, and you just kind of have to reset neutral and try to, read what your opponent's going to do yet again. So Pikachu is one of those characters that can just get away with dang near everything, and it's almost impossible to punish him. And there's maybe 2 characters in the game, 2 to maybe. He's top tier because I want to say there's maybe 4 characters that might give him a hard time, and it's Ness, Game & Watch, maybe Sonic, I want to say. And that's all I can think of at the moment. So
all of which are, definitely popular, but if you're talking about the top of the tier list, you would say maybe they fall more into the B tier, mid B tier.
Yeah.
That, are more pocket picks than first picks.
Yeah, exactly. And it's, again, what makes a character so broken in this game is the fact that they lose to virtually nobody, and Pikachu almost loses to nobody, except for, like I said, 3 to maybe 4 characters. So it's a little bit of a battle to fight Pikachu, but the thing is, people are saying he's worse and worse, he's getting worse simply because he's very tech savvy. You have to have a lot of technical skill and a lot of combo ability in order to pull off some of the combos, because some of his combos are frighteningly frame perfect, meaning you have to pull off, this input within 3 frames or this input within 6 frames or something like that, right? So he's a very fast character whose combos are not too incredibly hard. Like, some of his combos are, relatively easy once you get a little bit more experience with the game. But at, top level, pulling off his most insane combos takes a lot of effort. So
Understood. Yeah, a lot of mechanical skill means a lot of hours going to be spent in training mode. That's a lot of extra time to sink into a character. But that being said, it means that, anyone that used to play Pichu when they were good could have easily transitioned to Pikachu. And speaking of transitions, we're seeing a Bayonetta on screen.
We are, piloting Bayonetta here. And speaking of combo characters, Bayonetta is definitely the cutscene combo character herself. A lot of her combos just do a lot of damage, and once you get caught in them, you kind of just have to hope and pray you fall out, or you almost have to break your controller doing what's called SDI, which is something we'll explain probably after this match is over.
Both players not afraid to get into the other's faces, but of course Bayonetta finding a little bit more success. Those moves come out so fast. I mean, that frame data you were talking about, it looks like relatively short for her, but these parries and these dodge in places for the side of Pyra and Mythra are going pretty well for the most part. They're slowly beginning to adapt, but just as I mention it, they get comboed into the air, and this is starting to look like Smash Bros. For the Wii U!
Very much so. That is one of the combos that you are going to get used to seeing for sure if you are a Bayonetta fan, or if you follow any of the pros who do main Bayonetta. That is one of her signature combos that kills off the top, and that is basically what Bayonetta strives for the entire match, is hoping to get those combos, or maybe hoping to get a up tilt to back air combo, anything like that. So whether or not Killer Strike can kind of figure that out or knows how to avoid those combos is yet to be seen. But question mark. Very solid lead, but Killer Strike answering back with a nice little stock taken right there.
I think what's the scariest part about a Bayonetta is not really the character itself, but the stage you're playing against them on, right? And knowing that there's 3 platforms for you to be killed off the top of the stage, that's kind of the pressure that you want to avoid. You have to stay grounded, but it looks like that's a huge difficulty for Killer Strike right now.
Right. Not only that, but this Oh, just as I was about to mention it, this stage has very, very small horizontal blast zones, which means the blast zones on the side are so close that you can die at extremely early percents. And right there, normally Pyra and Mithra might be able to survive on different stages from Bayonetta's jab, but right then and there at 110%, this stage in particular is definitely going to kill them at that percent.
They might be able to steal away at least one more stock. Killer Strike, go for the second. Being comboed again, escape narrowly. They're getting used to that habit, right? Immediately, as soon as Killer Strike is in the air, we see Question Mark just going up for those special moves to try and get the combo in.
Yeah, oh, okay, yeah, no, Question Mark definitely wanted to kind of scoop Killer Strike up off the side there and continue the combo and potentially go for a horizontal kill. But right now, Killer Strike kind of throwing a few different haymakers, throwing out that side B. It's going to build up a lot of damage, but you need to find the kill here if you want to give, yourself a shot, or if you want to give your... Oh, great job right there. Okay, so Killer Strike has managed to find the kill with... Oh, Lord, this is scary.
Okay. Look, Lehi is already comfortable right now. Killer Strike, if they can manage one more, will be doing an amazing job for their school. But Westlake, look, they need to get this back right here now. You're looking at Question Mark. They want to approach. That side B now is the new greatest threat to them since sliced bread. But they're going to go ahead and dive right into the fire to find a little bit of extra damage. 155%. What more can you do? You're just waiting to be ended, but still a recovery. Which time is going to end this round?
Very true, very true. That was actually something that's another part about Bayonetta that's scary. So when Bayonetta does an air dodge, right, which is pressing the shield button or the grab button in the air, Bayonetta gets a frame 1 air dodge immediately. But not only that, Bayonetta also has witch time. So if you get any sort of careless, or you get any sort of, maybe mashy as some people would call it, Bayonetta can throw that out and punish you very, very hard with up smash, with forward smash, or with any of her kill combos that you saw earlier in the game. So good on Question Mark for kind of realizing that Killer Strike was definitely going to throw out more attacks as they were trying to space around some of Bayonetta's approach options.
It's definitely like a TV advertisement type of scenario, right? You're Bayonetta, maybe you're used to playing against other characters aside from Bayonetta, so you're not really expecting that from the air dodge. And so you see them get out of your move, your combo setup, the chain of combos, whatever it is, and then all of a sudden it's a, wait, there's more. And then you're slowed for eternity, and all of a sudden you're the one getting comboed, and in that case, finished.
Yeah, very true. And for those who, might have played the game back when Smash 4 or Smash for Wii U was a thing, that is a load of PTSD, right? That's like... a whole lot of just pain and suffering back when those combos were just absolute. Once you got touched, you were dead. There was nothing you can do about them, right? So thankfully in this game they're a little bit more nullified, but they are still as powerful depending on their pilot. Depending on the player who manages to use them. And right now, Question Mark definitely showing that they have some knowledge and they have some style with Bayonetta.
Oh, speaking of knowledge and style, here comes Princess Zelda herself. Operated by Dupala, and we're going to go ahead and see the witch go for some self-executes. All right, we're still in the crew battle, so we're going to go see those stocks reset. It's going to be a nice 4-2. Both players are ready, and it's time to see the magic happen.
Yeah, Question Mark already starting off with a little bit of some BM with the double crouch right there, but I guess they're already having fun. All right, Dupala taking already 55% here.
Which time again?
Yeah, which time again. Tried to continue the combo with the two forward airs right there. So Bayonetta's forward air is 3 inputs, and for Bayonetta combos, you can actually extend, and depending on if your opponent knows to avoid that, they can technically extend her fares, by 1, 2, and then kind of repeating that notion when they get off the platform.
And just as a reminder, Westlake is doing really good for themselves right now, only on their second player. In the meanwhile, Lehi on Dupala is their third, second to last player. So they're really hoping to pull ahead here, but look, Question isn't going to let that happen. Off the stage, Zelda is fired at, and that's going to be a lethal combo. And we're seeing another one. Will it be a kill off the top? No.
Yeah, the combo was dropped at probably the penultimate step of finishing that 0 to death potentially. But right now, Dupala going to get a nice little explosive up air to kind of get Question Mark away from them.
This is such a dangerous position to be in if you're Dupala. Zelda does have a lot of projectiles similar to Link, but I want to say they really operate best from a long distance, and that distance is not being made. Question mark is just living in the face of Dupala.
Right, and a lot of the times right now, Dupala has tried to go for a few thunder kicks, which is actually Zelda's forward air and back air, but Dupala is actually going to manage to find that forward smash and take question mark second stock now. So, but unfortunately, some of those thunder kicks have not been landing as perfectly as Dupala, I'd imagine, would want. So we've been seeing a lot of sour spots from that back air, and it hasn't been the sweet spot, which kills almost immediately at like high percents, such as 60 or 70%.
Offstage guarding by Bayonetta once again approaches. No grab there, but that's going to be just enough to change the momentum, right? And a forward throw isn't going to finish the job, but maybe, just maybe, they can fight for the offstage. Chips recovering once again. Dupala as Zelda continuing to try and recover, but they're just being denied over and over again. And it's really just a matter of time, right? Bayonetta eating away at Zelda's percentage until eventually they're just going to be killed by a jab.
Yeah, this is definitely going to kill, especially at 180%. Bayonetta's jab is really good, and that's one of her few kill options, so that will definitely seal the deal for Dupala's third stock. And whether or not this combo can continue is going to be scary for Lehi here.
I can't believe that kick of Bayonetta's canceled the Phantom Knight out of Zelda as well. And speaking of that kick, it's going to go ahead and lead into another aerial combo. They're really trying to turn us back in time. I am getting absolute flashbacks to the Wii U iteration of Smash, and I mean, look.
Oh, wait a minute. Okay, that should not have killed. But what I would imagine happened is question mark got caught with a little bit of bad DI. So that back throw from Zelda's is, you know, somewhat powerful, but it should not be killing Bayonetta at 100% in total. So a little bit of a questionable DI, but luckily that's going to save Westlake a little bit. Lehi a little bit. And luckily now Dupala is going to head over into the next battle with another stock to spare instead of getting that taken from another Bayonetta combo.
And what's great about it, and we want to remind you guys, is when you lose a stock, right, that's going to be gone for the next round, but it doesn't matter the amount of percent that you have going into the next match. So they were at, I think, 100 plus, if I'm not mistaken, something like that. So that gets all the way reset down to 0. So they're not really in a threatened position going into this next match with Mashman. So they get to be a little bit slower paced. And I think right now is what's going to be difficult is hoping that there's not another character that goes into their face and denies them the ability to use projectiles. And as soon as I say that, we're seeing Cloud.
Yep, was literally just about to say. Unfortunately for Lehi, they are going to see that really fast character with great frame data and with just great combo potential kind of hounding Zelda right now. So Cloud can easily kind of track Zelda down, and if the Cloud can kind of get an idea on what Zelda's doing, they can build up not quite a bit of damage and build up quite a bit of just kill potential and options very quickly, especially with that limit charge.
Okay, we're seeing a lot of moves being thrown out, none connecting until the aerials by Cloud do, and that down throw is going to keep Zelda off of the stage, and we see that limit being broken, but unfortunately not landing. And once again, the edge is the play for Dupala. They're just trying to get right back on the stage, and it's being consistently denied. And that's just a recurring theme that I'm seeing with Zelda right now, Juice.
Oh, for sure. Oh, but actually, wow, okay, that was some questionable DI as well. Dupala killing Mashman at 70% with Thunder Kick. Normally, with good DI, you can still kind of survive that. But, yeah, Dupala was very fortunate to take the stock that early from Westlake.
Okay, now we see a lot more care being implemented by Dupala, right? They were initially just throwing out moves left and right, trying to recover back on. Now they're holding the center of the stage with much more care. And they're really forcing some respect out of Mashman. We're not seeing moves being thrown out of them willy-nilly either. These rolls are helping a lot. It's denying combos, but still, every once in a while, we're seeing that percent built up by a loose jab or down tilt or forward tilt.
Right. And one thing about Cloud is Cloud's back air is not only incredibly safe, but has so much frame data in the sense that it almost ends extremely quickly. So Cloud can kind of spam that as much as he pleases. And as we're seeing right now, Zelda has very few options to kind of counteract that.
Yeah, back air against the shield.
Yep.
No out of shield option there for Cloud. They're just going to be sent sky high. 94%. Look, an extra stock Dupala. That's all you want. That's all you need. An up air is going to send them rising sky high. Cloud towards the clouds, but right back down on the stage. A forward air of their own, and they press the attack.
Yeah, unfortunately, Zelda did manage to only get the sour spot up that up air. So it's not going to take the stock from Mashman, but this might. Okay, doesn't get it a second time. Playing a little bit of neutral here. Going for the grab. Dupala noticing that, but the forward tilt from Mashman is going to find its connection and manage to take the game there. And Mashman's going to go into this next battle with 3 stocks to spare.
3 stocks to spare means that the fifth and final player out of Lehi is going to have to get through 7 stocks total, and that is something you kind of stare at wide-eyed. But you know, you just got to go for a 2-for-1 deal. Every time that you go down, you just got to take 2 stocks with you, and hey, absolutely doable. Right. No, I mean, it's for sure doable. Obviously, we've seen some very, very strong players coming out from both these high schools, so I do not doubt that either, you know, any of these team members could take like 4 stocks out of one person, or just outright might wipe the floor with another high school, right? Because we've definitely seen that before, especially was it last week or the week beforehand? 2 weeks ago we saw that happen, so I would not doubt it by any means. And look, I don't want to be the one to say it, Juice. But they
I
still
know what
have
you're
a
gonna say.
Look,
I know what you're gonna say.
It might just be No, it's not.
It's Pichu.
It's Pichu.
It's Pichu. Look at Pichu.
Who's that Pokemon?
It's Pichu. But so kind of like what we were talking about earlier, though, right? The differences between Pichu and the differences between Pikachu. Pichu does self-damage. So as a lot of players have realized, as Pichu has kind of gotten more into the meta, and it's, you know, Pichu players have developed the character a little bit more. All a certain character has to do is really just kind of let Pichu damage himself, and just kind of let Pichu just throw out moves upon moves. So whether or not Mashman realizes that and can kind of counter fifth with that specific tactic is yet to be realized.
It's just going to hurt. I mean, you're in the kind of position where you need to basically 2v1, go for the stocks, and it's one of the lightest characters in the game, and as you said, one that is self-inflicting on damage. So we better be seeing some mighty combos, and you know what? Hey, if this is a sneak peek into what's to come, it's looking absolutely good. The clouds are looking awfully thundery, and we're seeing it play out. 111% Mashman. This level of pressure hasn't been experienced by them in a while.
Yeah, no, Fifth is definitely applying the pressure here. A lot of these moves are safe for the fifth as well. I keep wanting to say fourth. But yeah, no, Mashman has not managed to take a stock just yet. Well, take this stock, I should say. Fifth is doing a great job of staying off stage and just kind of hounding Cloud where Cloud's worst spot is. It's kind of ironic that Cloud's worst spot is being in the air and off the stage. So whether or not Fifth can kind of keep capitalizing on that for these next 2 stocks is yet to be realized. But again, like you said, Pichu being the lightest character in the game, Cloud has a lot of kill power. So this can go either way, or it can just spiral out of control.
But hey, look, if Pikachu's one of those characters with a pancake, definitely Pichu has to be one as well, right? So they could use that to their advantage in a few scenarios here. But for now, it's just the continuation of the combo game. That down smash is going to take Cloud into a whirlpool. And I like the Thunderbolts, the Thunder Shocks, to try and deny the ledge for a little bit of time and get a few extra inches of damage.
That might, okay, that's not going to be death, but that's actually going to send Mashman just a little far off stage. Doing a great job of knowing that those smash attacks are safe. Mashman not able to find the kill here. Doing an up B out of shield. Oh my god! The wretched DI coming out from Fifth. Unfortunately gonna lose the 3rd stock, but gonna kill Cloud.
Bring it right back.
Yeah, bringing it right back.
Bringing it right back.
Yeah, if Fifth can manage to take this stock, it's gonna be, you know, a decent situation going into the final game. So whether or not Fifth manages to do that, I don't know if Mashman's gonna let that happen though.
Yeah, it comes down to this stock too, right? Because they need to wipe away all the damage going into next map. They can't be on one stock going 4 stocks to 1 in the final matchup of the day. They really want to come out on top with these two. They're denying the recovery, but no, it's actually a save.
Yeah, no, Fifth actually saved him, and oh my God, Mashman now with the limit, I'm forgetting the limit beam slash. Forgive me, I'm forgetting the name of it because this is so tense now. But Mashman back off stage. Fifth not reading the jump, going for a forward smash. They're playing neutral really well here.
Now this is getting even more intense. 73%. I mean, Mashman, just one more combo string can get to them. The down smash out of Pichu has been the killing move for, I think, every stock so far, except for maybe one that ended off stage for Cloud. So they're going to be very aware of when Pichu approaches from the ground, but of course, they can also approach from the air. Thunder, a strong move in their arsenal that continues to be used.
Oh my God, what a way to finish right there. The parry to the limit. Oh my God, hold on.
Westlake takes it out against Lehi. Pichu coming in hot. We saw the potential there, Juice. There was so much going on against Mashman. I mean, they had to have been on the edge of their seat. That was a level of intensity that I am not jealous of them experiencing. That made me sweat from my chair just watching the game. And man, it just seemed that it came down to a couple of micro errors here and there. We talked about that recovery being saved. For those of you that don't know, when you use a recovery move, you can't chain another one again unless you take damage or land back onto the stage. And getting hit by that little electric shock that Pichu sent, just one extra misinput, is what allowed Cloud to recover out of that perilous situation.
Yeah. That was the scariest part, right? Because obviously in one of the first stocks, we saw Fifth run out and neutral air Cloud and just eliminate Cloud's airspace, and Cloud can't recover from that, right? So seeing Fifth switch the edge guarding up from just naring to spamming the T-Jolt was so interesting because it did work out, but then right when you unfortunately hit the button a few too many times, unfortunately Mashman was able to recover, and then Mashman got that sweet parry on the last hit of Pikachu's back air, which was what Fifth was hoping to combo into the down smash that had been working the entire match. But again, good players pick up on bad habits, and Mashman managed to take the stock with the parry into the limit side B, which is going to seal that game and seal the deal for this battle here.
And look, whether, win or lose, no matter what high school you come out of, and whether you're supporting either school, Juice, I think we're all winners here today because there was no Steve.
For sure, man. For sure. No Steves means heaven for a Smash player. So unless you are that Steve, and then you just don't get to play. But anyway, like you said, man, it's all about having fun. We hope everybody here had fun. We hope y'all had fun watching. It was an amazing crew battle. Again, I don't think we saw any. Well, actually, no, we saw Pyro Mithra. I was gonna say we saw no Fighters Pass 2 characters, but we saw one. We saw one, but it was an honorable Fighters 2 Pass character.
Absolutely. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us in the Ken Garf Esports Fall Festival Week 3, Round 3 broadcast for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Make sure to hit that follow button to stay tuned for more competitions. But in the meantime, we'll see you in the next stream. Goodbye.
Esports is more than just gaming.
It's just a really good way to meet new people who are interested in the same thing as you.
It gives them a good sense of sportsmanship and teamwork.
The big goal with Ken Garf Esports is to introduce these students to industry. We want to show them that they can take their interest and passion and turn it into future opportunity.
And it's open to everyone. Encourage students to sign up for Ken Garf Esports today. To learn more about success in education and coding programs, visit SIEUtah.org.
Did you know that the average teenager spends nearly 7.5 hours on their phone every day? In that time, you could watch a 2-hour movie almost 5 times in a row, or ride a roller coaster at a theme park 45 times, or fly to Hawaii and swim for an hour. You can make the best use of those 7.5 hours by spending 5 minutes of your day on the Keys to Success app. Keys to Success is a mobile app and website that rewards you for exploring your future. See you soon!